a hot minute since I came on here, but I wanted to talk about something I get asked about a lot about Ozempic weight loss injections. Are they good? Are they safe? Would I recommend them? So I want to cover off the facts around the injections themselves, and what they are, how they actually work, and also what is the intended purpose of the injections. And like anything, it's not a quick fix. So whilst I have opinions about them, I reserve those because I always have questions. I always like, why? What's your motivation? Why do you want them? Which typically there's going to be weight loss, right? But what is it that you expect them to fix, and what are you doing around that? Because like any medication, any drug that's not meant to be taken long term, you've got to have an exit strategy for that. There's one of the facts, dropping facts already. You've got to have an exit strategy with that. So I always have a conversation about what's the problem you're trying to solve, what's the solution, what are you doing around that to foolproof it and to make it work for you. Because obviously they're around to stay. There is a mixture of school of thoughts around them. Some people are like, I just don't want that stuff in my body. Absolutely accept that. I'm not an advocate of them at all. And I think it's just a case of choosing what's right for you, and I think giving you information will help you make that choice. All right, so first off, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Julie. I'm a nutrition coach. I help women over 40 lose weight and get fitter without resorting to fad diets. So diving into a hot topic, as I said at the start, many of you come to me, have heard of weight loss injections and come to me about weight loss injections. So it's something I get asked quite a lot, so I want to break down what they are, how they work, the pros and cons, and whether, if you are thinking about it, if you've got them in your shopping basket right now, why they might be the right option or not for you. So I'm not here to promote or discourage their use, but I'm here to power you the facts so that you can make an informed decision, because that is the way I operate in general. Whenever a client comes to me for fitness, for nutrition, I look at whole lifestyle, as I mentioned at the start. I look at what's your thought process, what are you trying to achieve through this thing, and whether we're right match or not to work together. So I like to do that. I like to give the facts, give you informed information, and then we can have further discussion if you wish. But I do not sell this stuff. I do not promote it. For its intended use, I agree with, but for what's happening right now, I don't agree with. But that's entirely your opinion. Okay, whether you want to take it or not. So what are the weight loss injections? So there's a phrase going around that you might have seen, GLP, and it'll be like -1, GLP-1 receptor. So it's all about the GLP-1, and you'll see this being flogged, and you'll see some natural products coming out to replace the injections now. The reason these so-called natural products are coming out screaming that they're getting the same result is because people like to cotton on to where they're going to make money, right? So what's happening is they say, no, this is a money maker, and the injections have been around a long time, even pre-COVID times, where many Botox clinics were selling these, as well as so-called healthy living. And so they've been around a long time. It's just they're more mainstream now. They're more available to everybody through cheaper ways. I say cheaper, you're still looking at, I think, 150 to 200 pounds, maybe 250, depending where you're getting them from, depending on what brand you're buying. And basically how these work is the GLP-1 receptor antagonists are medications designed to help people manage their weight by mimicking a hormone in the body. So basically what it's doing is it's helping you with your appetite, with the hunger control, by mimicking the hormone in your body that regulates appetite. So you might be someone who says, I can't stop eating. And you might hear somebody saying they've been diagnosed with their GLP-1's broken, it's not functioning how it should. And this can be where someone's been severely obese, overweight for many, many years, which makes it very difficult for the body to regulate, for their hunger cues are just pretty much broken because of what's been going on in their body, what continues to go in their body. So initially these injections were to treat type 2 diabetes, which is where you might have seen in the press some issues around shortages of the injections for people with diabetes. And they become popular for weight loss because, as I mentioned, they can help people in terms of reducing hunger, help people feel full for longer, but they're typically described to people who have a significant amount of weight to lose and have weight related issues. Now, I'm talking there, I've said about morbidly obese is a phrase they use in NHS. And off the side of that, we know that people can have high blood pressure, it's difficult to move, arthritis, osteoarthritis, all sorts of conditions that come out the back of being overweight. We know overweight is a risk factor to your health, and we know it's an epidemic, and it comes from just the marketing of the foods that are out there, the foods that have been developed to make them highly palatable, which means you want more and more of them. I always use Pringles as an example. Nobody ever craves a Pringle, but yet you find yourself munching on them. And a lot of products now, like crisps, have flavor enhancers in them. So you just keep on eating and going back for more and more. So they've always worked out the science about how can they get us to eat more of their products so they can make more money. And now what they're doing is selling you the product to help you lose weight because you put on so much weight because you've eaten the product, and their science has worked really well and getting to eat it. And now they're giving you their science to help you inject yourself to make it easy to lose the weight. Um, and I would say this is my bug with it. My bug is the right word, but this is, I suppose, a pitfall. A pitfall with it is that people take the injections and don't change their diet. And I know from a client where her husband was sitting, injecting himself, and eating dairy milk, for example. So it's not to say you can't ever have those things. Of course not. We talk about moderation all the time. We talk about having a bit of what you enjoy. No such thing as good and bad. It's about the high quality food. But typically, when people are looking for a quick fix, they tend to use these to inject themselves and then eat really low quality foods. So I think personally what's going to happen is we're going to end up with even more what they call skinny fat people. People who look quite healthy on the outside, you think, oh, they look slim, they look skinny, oh, they're looking great. But on the inside, just fat accumulating around their key organs because of the quality of the food they're eating. So I think we're in a really interesting time to see where this goes. So I just want to recap that. So the weight loss injections are also known as the GLP-1 receptor antagonists. They're designed to mimic the hormone that's going to help regulate appetite and keep you feeling full for longer. So stop your food cravings. And when you do have something, keep you fuller for longer. And it was initially used for people with diabetes. And now we're in the range of people who are obese, morbidly obese, loads of health implications around that. So now that's why it's being prescribed. So as I mentioned, in terms of how they work, when you take the injection, it mimics the hormone, which is released in the gut after you eat. So the hormone signals to the brain that you're full. And this is what some people who are in the obese category and above struggle with. They struggle with knowing when they're full, being able to stop eating. So it basically, the hormone signals to the brain that you're full. It slows down the empty in the stomach, so it's where you get the feeling fuller for longer. And it helps regulate blood sugars. So by increasing the level of the GLP-1 in your body, the injections can help reduce your appetite and your food cravings. And over time, this is obviously going to lead to weight loss, especially when combined with healthy lifestyle changes, such as eating higher quality foods and moving your body. And that's where we get into the pros and cons around it. So as I mentioned at the very start, with all these things, they aren't meant to be taken forever. So you've got to have a strategy and exit plan around it. And this is where my bug with it lies, because yes, absolutely, they can save lives, they can make improvements, but a lot of places selling these will now sell it with a little tag on of so-called healthy eating, which isn't really going to help people, because let's face it, they're making money out of it. They're making massive amounts of money out of it. Is it a threat to me and my business? Of course not, because it's not what I do. And that's why I'm not biased that way, but I'm biased in terms of I like to help people. And I think giving people injections and then giving them a Weight Watchers subscription isn't helping, because typically people who will be taking injections, like many of us, will have a relationship with food around comfort eating, stress eating, and it's not going to help solve those challenges. So yes, by all means, if you're in a place and your doctor's like, your health is at risk, you need these injections because your future health, you're shortening your life, you're looking at multiple issues in terms of diabetes, high blood pressure, all that jazz, then yes, take them as a pathway to get you to where you need to be, but not as a short-term fix, not as a fad diet, and certainly as an eye-opener that you can take them, but you will need a pathway to get off them and work with your doctor on this. Please don't buy them online, and please go to your doctor and speak about it, because like anything, self-administering it without the help, it's not going to end well. You're either going to be on it for the rest of your life, paying 150, 200, £250 a month, Or what's going to happen is you're going to come off it, be super frustrated, end up putting all the weight back on and beat yourself up about it. And it's because there's so much complexities around food. So it's bigger than just taking the injections. There's more to it than just taking it. So I kind of went on a rant there, but yeah, to summarize the pros. So the pros is it can help with significant weight loss. I think the trials show that it can lose 10 to 15% of body weight with medications. As I mentioned, it helps control appetite. So for people who find it really struggle to stop eating, especially in a world where we're surrounded by food, it can help with appetite control. And as I mentioned, a side on of losing the weight is then you're going to improve your blood sugar control, your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure, and all the health benefits that come with being at a healthy weight. Now, the cons and risks are the side effects. Common side effects are like vomiting or diarrhea, nausea, constipation. And again, it's going to depend on you and your body. Everybody's unique. While there's commonalities around the side effects, it might vary from one person to another. I know certainly a Facebook feed I was in, someone spoke about her being really not well on it at all, so they had to come off it. But obviously, it works for some people and not other, because medicine isn't exact science. Everyone's body reacts a bit differently with commonalities, but your body is uniquely beautiful, which means you might react a bit different. So I mentioned costs. So weight loss injections can be expensive. Like I say, from 150, I think I've seen 250 pounds a month. So yeah, not cheap, right? Straight up, you can get me for cheaper, right? So it's that thing. It is a big investment, and I will give you a long-term full package nutrition coaching training that gives you long life results. So yeah, they're not cheap. One of my biggest concerns is that when you stop taking injections, people are going to regain weight, which can be frustrating and put you back in a place that you may be experiencing now, where you're not loving your body, you're hating yourself, you're frustrated, you're annoyed. So you really need to think about a pathway. They're not a magic fix. They can aid weight loss, but they won't replace the need for kind of healthier eating high quality foods, and being physically active. So if you're thinking about using them to fit back into your jeans, look good in a swimsuit in summer, really they're not for that purpose. And you could just use them as another yo-yo dieting, another fad dieting tool, an expensive one at that, and it's not going to help your health long term. One of my clients who looked into it before they came to work with me on nutrition, she previously had cancer, breast cancer, and she couldn't get any guarantees from the company that this wouldn't somehow activate her cancer or impact her cancer coming back. So there are certain medical history conditions that should be looked into. So if you've got pancreatitis, thyroid cancer, or any type of cancer, please check with your GP and do not buy these online. Go check, have a conversation with them. What are the risks? Find out the risks. If you've had cancer before, that these could activate something in your body, please go and have that conversation. And of course, there's always alternative to the weight loss injection. It's always good to explore the sustainable ways. Like I said, there's loads of like non-injection products coming out that are meant to mimic the same as injections, and I would really do your research on that. Do your research, because again, people are out to make money, right? Making money from injections, they're the in thing at the moment. So if someone's giving you a herbal alternative and I keep getting them dropping into my DMs trying to get me to sell this stuff, then please do your research about it, because a lot of this stuff can again be fads and just there to take your money. So what's alternatives then? If you're not getting a herbal alternative product or an injection, it is balanced nutrition. So focusing on the high quality foods, focusing on getting your protein across all 3 meals, getting your fruit and veg in, getting your hydration, fiber to keep you fuller for longer. So you can do it through natural foods. Strength training. Okay, so I bang on about this all the time, and this is something with injections as well, that's become a bit more apparent. So not only are you going to lose fat, you're also going to lose muscle mass. So it's a real issue. So that's why when they prescribed injections, or you buy injections, you're supposed to say to you, you need to do healthy eating and training alongside, because the muscle mass you'll lose is detrimental to your long-term health. So I speak all the time about this, like for especially women over 40s, we need to build our muscle bank, because our muscles, what supports our joints, it helps us to live free, independent lives, be able to do day-to-day activities. And with the weight loss injections, they don't just take away the fat, they also deplete your muscle mass. And this is starting to get a bit of raised publicity around this. So you absolutely need to do strength training, whether you take injections or not. It's crucial, as it helps maintain metabolism and support long-term fat loss, but also help us live independent, healthy lives. And the other thing to think about is accountability and support. So if you are taking injections, I mentioned about what's the get out, what's your pathway to come off them, what's the support around that, is it working with someone like myself, is it with other people who are going to injections and they've got a pathway or they've done it and they've come off it, and what does that look like, because you will need a route to come off these at some point. And so final thoughts, I mean, are weight loss injections the right choice? For me, they are if you are in the morbidly obese category and your doctor saying your life is at risk because of where you are with the weight ratio for your health, then it's definitely got a benefit. I would say always discuss it with your GP. And remember, there's no shortcuts to healthy weight. There's no shortcuts to healthy living. These are a tool. That's what they are. They're a tool, but they're not a cure-all. And the real magic happens when you have a strategy for consistent, sustainable lifestyle changes that enjoys you to do what you want to do in life. Like, you don't have to miss out on social life. You can still enjoy yourself and have a social life. So it's that thing to remember. These are a tool. They're not a quick fix. They're not a one fix all. They're not a quick fix. They're not a fad diet. I do fear that people will use them as a fad diet. That is my problem with them. And I know many of the practitioners who sell these with a healthy lifestyle don't actually live a healthy lifestyle themselves and live off Greg sausage rolls and all sorts of things. And that's my other bug, is that the people who say they're going to give you this injection alongside a healthy life have never healthy in their lives. So it's that whole piece around, okay, it's not a case of inject yourself and eat what you want. Okay, yes, you can, you will get away with that for a while, but it'll catch up with you, right? So if you eat low quality foods, not only will the weight come back on when you stop the injections, but we're going to end up with fat around the liver, organs, and so forth. So you really got to think about, where does this fit in with the overall lifestyle changes you're going to make. All right, team. So that's the facts and my final thoughts on weight loss injections. Please don't use them as a fad diet. Don't use them just to fit into your swimsuit or your jeans for the summer. That's not their purpose. Speak to a professional about it. Speak to a GP about it. Try not to buy them online of a company. And when someone says they're going to give you healthy living guidance beside it, ask questions about that. What is it? Is it just a Weight Watchers membership? And also think about your relationship with food. And what is it drives you? Is it comfort eating? Is it stress eating? Is it trauma based? And think about, speaking to a counselor or a therapist alongside taking these two to get you long lasting help. And of course, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or drop me a note in the DMs. Drop me a note in DMs or a question on the feed and I shall come back to you. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm going to shoot off. I have a client in 9 minutes, my last one for this evening.